Sydney kept saying,
Yeah.
"You're such nice things to people," and she goes, "Joe, you're going to be the star of this movie." And I was like, "Oh, thanks so much." Like, I don't think I am. I think they're the stars, and they're incredible.
Hi, Joe. My name's Bianca from Student Edge. Firstly, congrats on the film, Anyone But You. It was hilarious. It was so
Oh, great!
enjoyable.
You
I
seen it
have,
already?
yeah. I saw it on Monday. Loved it.
Oh, great! We were at the Sydney
I
premiere.
no, it was in Perth.
Oh,
So I'm from Perth, so we saw it then, and I took my partner to see it, and we haven't actually watched a rom-com together for a very long time. And from like 5 minutes in, he couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. We loved it. So
right.
congratulations. It's fantastic. I know you've had the New York premiere and then you had the Sydney premiere on Monday that you mentioned. How were they both? And how are you feeling now?
Well, I still feel a bit sick, but I lost my voice at the New York premiere, and I was so congested. So as everyone was, you might hear it in my voice, like my voice is still in recovery mode. But yeah, New York was the worst in terms of like how sick I was.
Oh
But
no.
so they were asking me questions, and if you see the videos back as I'm answering, I'm like, so a lady's asking me how was life on Neighbours, blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, it's good, yeah. I was very sick. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. New York was incredible. It was a pretty interesting, you know, thing stepping onto the red carpet for the first time. And
Yeah.
I made a video right where I hopped out of the car and I said, like, the good thing about being someone that isn't known is I can probably just cruise straight through. And but then, of course they've got their little cheat sheet which
Yeah.
helps them to identify people. So as soon as I stepped out, it's like Joe over here, back corner, front right, lower left, up front row, back row. And so you're just like this, looking around, like, hey, yeah, how are you? Hey. But it's just something to get used to, like yeah, it was a good warm up for the Sydney one. But it was the odd thing was I think the Sydney one was more intense because there were fangirls at the Sydney one, whereas New York there were. He didn't know me at all, so it was like I just cruised right through. But Sydney,
Two
they're like,
totally different worlds.
yeah, Sydney, they're like, Joe, over here. I was like, you guys don't even know me yet. The movie's not out yet. Yeah, but I think maybe that'll change after the movie comes out. But yeah, it was good. It was such a good experience. New York is incredible. One of the best cities I've been to. Um, the people are so weird, so that's really good because I'm weird, so I fit in. Yeah, I like it. I really like New York. It's so special. It feels like it's just such an alive city.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and then Sydney is, it's good to be back here because you can go down, swim at the beaches, and yeah, healthy lifestyle. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, it's good to hear you're feeling a little bit better then. On the mend at least. But I was
yeah.
gonna say before we get into the movie, like being from Student Edge as well, I wanted to ask you about the start of your acting career. So was acting always something you wanted to do growing up? Is it something you thought about while you're at school? Like how did you get into it?
Um, yeah. I always think about this, and I wonder when did it start because I don't think I ever wanted to do acting. I think I just enjoyed doing acting when I was younger. So in primary school, I got cast in this. I had a pickaxe, so I think they'd already cast all the main people, and my job was just to go across the stage with the pickaxe. I think it was I've been working on the railroad, and so I'd be like there with my pickaxe, which was like way bigger than me, just like putting like little holes in the floor. Everyone told me after, oh, there's holes in the floor. But as I was walking across the stage, my pants fell down, and then everyone just laughed, and then I just kept using my pickaxe all the way across the stage with my pants down at my ankles. Um, and that was kind of the start. And I was like, man, at the start I was embarrassed, but then the second year I got cast in William Tell, and I was William Tell, so I went from this character that wasn't even anyone to then you playing the main character in William
Yeah.
Tell. And on the very last shot, I go to fire my arrow, and my brother had loosened my pants so they would fall the second year in a row. And so then they fell down again the second year. And everyone goes, Joe, your pants keep falling down every year. And I was like, oh, it's crazy, isn't it? But the second year, I kind of like loved it. I was like, this is kind of cool. Everyone laughs when my pants fall off. And then, this film, pants going again.
It's a recurring
Yeah.
theme.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme. It all comes in threes. So that's the last time the pants will be falling off in any movie, maybe.
Well, I was gonna ask for this movie as well. Like, are you a fan of like the rom-com genre itself, or are there any rom-coms you consider to be the GOAT as well?
I think Will's movies are really incredible. Easy A, Friends with Benefits. I love the pacing of it, and he just
Yeah.
does such a good job of tying it together. I say a different answer every time someone asks this because there's so many good ones. But I really like Dermot's My Best Friend's Wedding, but I don't know. I really like Will's movies too. And then if it's a comedy with a bit of romance, I like Joe Dirt. And if it's a movie that's got some funny parts, but mainly about romance, I like About Time as well.
Oh yeah, good
I,
picks.
that other actor that I can't remember the name, but he's been in heaps and stuff. Um, the red hair.
Dominic
So
Gleeson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. But yeah, I think for me, like Joe Dirt's like my funniest one. Like I laugh so much at Joe Dirt. Um, Austin Powers is great too, but that's not really a romantic comedy. It's more like comedy with a bit of romance. It's a bit silly. Um, yeah, I like those movies, but my favorite, I don't know. This one's pretty good. I really like this one. I really like Anyone But You. So, I can't talk too much about others because
I know. Well, let's
know.
talk more about yours then. So based loosely on Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, which is awesome, by the way. All the sprinkles of references and stuff in there. Loved it. Filmed in Sydney, even better. Like, what was it like getting to work on your home turf?
It was great. I was, we went for a bus tour with Sydney, and I kept giving them fun facts. I was like, that's over there. That's a place where this happens, or over there, that's a place where that happens. And I was like, oh, that's my friend Marcus. And I went past my friend Marcus on the bus. I was like, hey, Marcus, and he's like, hey, Joe. It was, yeah, it was great. It was really special being in your hometown because even though it feels like you're a bit out of your depth being in an American movie all of a sudden, but then you get used to it. Day one, it's fine. Like it's actually not a big deal at all. Like they're just people, and it just kind of feels like any short film, but with more people. Like it doesn't feel like it's too big for you. Day one, you can talk it up in your head that it's so scary. It's a big movie. It's whatever, but it's not. It's fine, and it's always fine. Just do the work, and it becomes easy. But yeah, this movie. What was your question about this movie?
Well, I've got a few. Well, I was going to say, like, obviously
okay.
working in home turf, really exciting, and I want to talk about your character Bo as well because I kind of describe him as like he's exuding like big Aussie golden retriever energy almost. So I was going to say, how would you describe Bo, and like what was it like getting to play the character?
Yeah, I really like this character because it's so fun and light-hearted. Yeah, I've played some other characters. In Neighbours, I was killing my dad in a spa, and this other surfing one I did, my dad had died there as well, and then I had some drugs and I was on the run. But this one's so good because it's just like it's the easiest job I had to do in terms of um, it's tough as well. It's not that it's easy, but it's just um, such an easy energy to be because once you get to that happy energy, it's like it feels so good. It feels very refreshing to play this character. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I
I was
think
gonna
about this.
Well, I was going to say you had a lot of like scene stealing moments in the movie as well, and like I feel like I can't go into specifics without mentioning it because I'll spoil the beauty of it. But I felt like anytime we saw you on screen, we knew we were like in for a good time, like we're in for something good. Were there any funny scenes that like you or anyone in the cast like struggled to get through? Because I imagine it would have been a lot of fun on set. Like I couldn't have kept a straight face through any of that.
Yeah, so I've got a scene. It's been cut, so I'm pretty sure I can talk about it. So, I had a scene with Dermot, and so the director says, check the script. We'll be shooting these scenes in half an hour. Put something together because it's all improv. It says Joe's talking to Dermot, Brian's talking about his daughter that's moved to America and how much he loves it. So Brian for his was like, my daughter moved to America and I love it. That's what he did for his because he didn't do any improv. He's like, I'm just going to talk about exactly what it says.
Yeah.
There was something like that. And then, so mine with Dermot, it has nothing on it. And so Dermot said to Will just before he left, Will the director, he said, hey, Will, you have a big night last night, did you? You forget to write the script. So it was pretty funny. We just had to make something up, and so we were one of the last ones to go. So the girls had really clean, well-written lines, and it was very smooth. Then it got to me and Dermot, and we looked at each other and we're like, far out, we've got like almost nothing. I think we had a Vegemite song at one point, and the director said, no, we can't do that, copyright. And so we just ended up eating. I just ended up eating food the whole time, eating pumpkin, and as I was eating it, it was spraying on Dermot's face, and Dermot was like wiping it away, and I was like, "Hey, mate, so where are you from anyway?" And then I say to him, is this food free? And he goes, "Nothing in life is free." And I go, "Yeah, but is this food free?" And he's just covered in food and everything on his face. And he's like, "Yeah." So that was really fun, but we couldn't stop laughing, and we had to keep reshooting. And the director goes, "Come on, guys, hold it together." Because we'd been shooting for so long, and I was holding the water jug, the giant water jug, just drinking out of the jug,
Yeah.
and and um the director says to Dermot, hold it together, and Dermot goes, "You think it's easy? You give it a try." And he's like just laughing hysterically, like almost crying. That was probably the hardest scene, and one of my happiest memories on set was that scene. So I hope it makes the deleted scenes, or
Yeah.
director's cut or something, because that for me was so funny. I wrote it in my
Yeah.
diary because I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Well, that was really good to know, because that was actually my next question, was like, if you were able to improvise. It seemed like you got a lot of freedom to be able to do that, which is fantastic. So I'm hoping we'll see some deleted scenes, because you could tell all of you were just having a really, really good time. And obviously you're talking about Dermot. You've obviously got an incredible director, Will, and then you've got, Sydney and Glenn as well. But Sydney and Glenn, do you remember when you first met them and what it was like working with them on set?
Yeah, so I didn't know who they were at the start. Like I knew Glenn from Top Gun.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a little smart ass guy from Top Gun. Thinks he's top dog. I was like, he's going to be a little cocky dude on set. But yet then you meet him, and he's such a humble guy. I was doing some practice in the swimming pool for the swimming pool scene. Then I meet Glenn and Sydney. So I researched who they were, and I was like, okay, sweet. I thought Sydney would be taller. She's a little pocket rocket, and then Glenn's the nicest guy, and Sydney's the nicest girl. So it's like, yeah, they're just very kind, giving people. Like it doesn't feel like a competition. It doesn't feel like this is our movie. You guys, whatever. Sydney kept saying
Yeah.
you such nice things to people, and she goes, "Joe, you're going to be the star of this movie." And I was like, "Oh, thanks so much." Like I don't think I am. I think they're the stars, and they're incredible. They're everyone keeps saying the chemistry, but the way that they have banter with each other is incredible. But the first time I met them, sorry, this is like a bit of a dyslexic answer to the interview.
That's fine.
But the first time I met them was at the swimming pool, and they're like, "Hey man, how are you, Glenn?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, good bro, how are you?" And then he's like, "Hey, how are you?" Big hug. It was just so nice because yeah, sometimes you work with people that think that they're superstars, but here you've got some superstars, but they're I think the thing that makes superstars to me at least isn't how famous you are, it's by how you treat people. And so to me, the guy at the local fish shop might be, or the lady at the bed, they might be to me people that I'm like, these people, there's something special about it. And that's how I feel with Sydney and Glenn, because they've got something really special about them, because they're both genuinely good people. There's nothing fake about it.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a really good bunch to work with over the course of the production. I had one final question for you as well, Joe. Time has escaped us; it's flown by. Everyone who goes to see the film, like, they need to watch through the credits, because, like, without spoiling it, like, there's some clips featured throughout the course of the movie that come back up, and it was so fun to watch. Was that end sequence always planned from the beginning? And can you ever listen to that particular song again?
Yeah, well, that song wasn't well. It was between that song and the song "I Want to See You Be Brave" by whoever that singer is.
Yeah.
Sure. But that Brave song. So, but then they went with this song for the ending instead. And I mean, I used to love that song, and I still love it. And there's a clip on YouTube of a kid that puts his window down and sings it to someone in the other car, and
Yes, I love that
I bought some
video.
karaoke mics that way. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was always. I think they had an idea, but they weren't 100% sure. So a lot of things came together as it went, and a lot of those scenes at the end were made up. So that last scene with the singing, all those things that were happening were made up, and one of them that has been deleted, so I guess I can talk about it, is I'm pulling a car with my teeth, and the dog's in the car.
Oh my God.
But yeah, but that's been scrapped. So yeah. I mean, yeah, it was pretty much all of it was made up as it went. I was meant to be, I think, cutting my hair, but then that got scrapped, and yeah, so it was. Yeah, it kind of developed. Will's like a genius because he's I just love his brain. Will's got a really good brain. It's just yeah, he always throws out new things and you kind of just roll with it and it just works. It's like you just put a blindfold on and trust Will.
No, that sounds fantastic. And all those moments that you said didn't make the final cut, like I think it's testament to like how well that everyone got along together and how much fun you guys had on it. And like I said before, it really, really shows. I'm already planning on going and seeing it a second time. So
Oh, I love it.
Joe, look, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Like congratulations on the film again. All the best. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you get up to next.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, Bianca. Yeah, stay tuned and I'll hopefully see you around if I ever go to
Sounds
WA
good.
premiere or something. And,
I'll have to come to Sydney. Either
yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah,
we'll make it
yeah,
work.
yeah, definitely.